Hello and welcome to this glorious LP. I am Mutagene and I will be your host today. Don't worry, I sound really nervous and I am, but hopefully this will be okay, since I'm doing post-commentary and everything. Anyway, if you haven't guessed from the title, I am going to be LPing Lords of Thunder for the Sega CD, one of my favorite shmups ever made. And this is basically the most metal game ever made. Like seriously, none of the Dynasty Warriors games come even close to this. And I'm a huge Dynasty Warriors fan, thank you very much. Anyway, it was released in '95 by Hudson Soft. It was titled Winds of Thunder in Japan. There was also a TurboGrafx 16 version, but I much prefer this version for the music, because it actually sounds good. The TurboGrafx 16 version just sounds like shit. Also, there are a few different pre-rendered cutscenes that are actually really good. The narration is incredible. So I'm gonna shut up for it.
The once peaceful land of Mistral was about to be plunged into a time of death and turmoil. From the darkest reaches of the land, the army of the Garuda Empire, under the command of High Priest Sornbel and the 6 Dark Generals, had begun the invasion of Mistral. Not since the Battle of the Gods during the Time of the Sword had the beautiful countries of Mistral seen such savage destruction. In this battle, the legendary knight Drac, with the goddess Luxina, had sealed the evil god Deoric deep under the 6 continents of Mistral. The Garuda Empire's intention was to resurrect the evil god Deoric and to plunge the world into darkness. The people of Mistral fought to stop the invasion, but they were no match against the superior force of the Garuda Empire. As the last hope of the people of Mistral, one knight alone stands to save this land. His name was Duran, the last in the bloodline of the legendary knight Drac. Protected by the mystical armor of Drac, Duran alone confronts Sornbel and the Garuda Empire. Will Duran be able to stop the Garuda Empire, the resurrection of Deoric?
Yeah, that was pretty epic, and I don't use that word lightly. Anyway, there might be some background noise, but you'll have to forgive that because I'm using my laptop's built-in microphone. So yeah, there's a second intro, but sadly it doesn't have any narration, although it does have a kick-ass bass line. Anyway, I'm not even going to go into the configuration menu because I'm just playing it on normal. Originally I wanted to do it on hard, but I thought it was a little too much. Because I want to get this done in one go. Anyway, there's 4 different armors, but I'll be sticking with the wind armor for the whole run. Because, well, it's the most powerful.
May I help you?
Oh, here's the shop. As you can see, there's a lovely mistress to sell you items. There's quite a few useful things, though at the start there's not much you can buy. When we started out with 300 crystals, most of the stuff is pretty expensive. But that won't be a problem since we're starting with Alzel. Anyway, the wind armor is a straight shot, which is extremely nice to me. I mean, I much prefer it to a spread shot or anything, although it does get more spread later on. the other really useful thing about it is that it can shoot through enemies and through walls, which really comes in handy in La Mirada. Anyway, you'll have to excuse my sloppiness here. I was trying to get used to my new controller. Also, fuck that waterfall. You know, I can't really think of anything interesting to say. That's kind of depressing. Although it's kind of funny that we're going underwater. Then again, we can fly, so I don't think it's a problem. Anyway, this is why I do Algor first, because as you can see, there is a shit ton of crystals everywhere. If you try to get as many as you can, you will have way too much. And actually, in this run, I do so well, but I have plenty left over after getting everything I need. Obviously the red crystals give more than the blue. Also, as you can tell from there, the fully upgraded wind armor also hits enemies directly behind you, which is extremely helpful. Oh, and this guy's a pain in the ass. I usually try to melee him, but the spread shot is... And actually, that's a nice feature. I really like the melee attack, because it does like twice as much damage. It makes a really nice balance. So you have to learn when to stay back and when to go in, and how to time it. Oh, and we'll be seeing a lot of these spiked ball and chains. They're in most of the levels, and they get worse later on. Anyway, this is the first boss, and I actually really like this one. The background has some incredibly impressive parallax scrolling. It doesn't look as good in this video, but trust me, in person it looks amazing. It provides a much stronger sense of depth than any polygonal background would. Anyway, this boss is fairly easy, not the easiest in the game, of course, but that homing going is a bitch, especially on the higher difficulties. Anyway, I did really well this time, so I won't have to buy much. That's a good thing. But now we're doing the first stage, which that's one of the nice things about this. You can do the stages in any order you want, although it might not be the smartest thing to start with something like boss or Harada. Anyway, done getting rid of all the stuff I needed. I grabbed a shield so I can be protected from 2 hits, which comes in handy. Although, really, it's too expensive. It's only useful if you have a lot of credits left over. This level is a lot easier, so there's not really much to worry about at all. It doesn't even have any real traps. But of course, oh man, this game gets really hard later on with the traps. Like just after this video, I'll be doing La Mirada, and from that point on, it gets incredibly difficult. There's no chance that I'll be able to get through without using an elixir. And I try to limit when I use bombs, but La Mirada's boss is a bitch without bombs. So I guess we'll get to that later. Anyway, you can see there's pretty nice backgrounds in this game. I really like the art design. The enemy design, the background design, the stage design, the level design is incredible in this game. And every level feels very unique. The traps are placed perfectly. The enemy layout is also really intense in later stages. And I just thought they were really clever with some of it. It plays kind of... It's almost set up kind of like a platformer in some ways. Just really fast paced. And actually a neat effect is that you might notice it a couple times. When you touch the ground, you start walking, which I think is a really nice detail. They did a really nice job with the details in this game. And those rocks you see there, they will actually push you down. And it's a good thing that in this section coming up, there's a lot of rocks. If there were any bullets being shot at you, this section would be almost impossible. Thankfully, it's not that bad. It's only the first stage, so it shouldn't be bad. Although I will say, one thing that sucks about this game, it's because it's meant as a single-player game, there's no two-player. There's no point in score, which is a shame, because I usually play shmup for score. But I think in this case it's okay, because, well, the game is really, really fun. And it's really unique. I've never played anything else like it. And I normally don't like old school horizontal shooters. I prefer the vertical shmups like Raiden, or of course Raiden Fighters, or anything by Raiden. But I don't know, I just think this is a really good game. I got it for the soundtrack, but I stayed for the gameplay. And don't get me wrong, the soundtrack is still pretty amazing, but the gameplay is even better in my opinion. It just feels so good. Anyway, we're going to the first boss, which is pathetically easy. I don't even get hit here, which is actually, I'm not that good at this game, so that's a surprise. Each of the bosses have a neat little introduction with one of the Dark Generals transforming into some huge monster. This guy is a pushover. Like I said, you don't want the first stage to be hard. You want it to get you into the game. In any case, we're done with that for now. I guess whenever I feel like it, I'll go and do La Mirada. And then we'll go on from there. Hopefully this will only be in like 4 parts.